of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now administer the oath of office to our newly elected board members for the 3-year terms. Leonora Caminiti, Michael Donlin, and Tom Millen was elected to a 3-year term also, but he is not present this evening. He'll be sworn in a later time. So Mrs. Caminiti and Mr. Donlin, please come forward. Raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I, and state your name,
Michael Donald,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and this state
in the United States and this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I state your name.
Michael Donald,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications prescribed
that I possess the qualifications prescribed
by law
by law
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
for the office of member of the Board of Education,
that I am not disqualified as a voter
that I am not disqualified as a voter
pursuant to law
pursuant to law,
or disqualified from membership
or disqualified from membership
due to conviction of any crime or offense
through conviction of any crime or offense
as listed by law,
as listed by law,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of that office
perform all the duties of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Martha. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations.
We will now take a roll call of the newly seated board. Mrs. Caminiti,
Here.
Mr. DeFranco,
Here.
Mr. Donlin,
Here.
Mr. Gimo,
Here.
Mrs. Minimes,
Here.
Mrs. Rogers,
Here.
Mrs. Stella,
Here.
Mrs. Wright,
Here.
Mr. Miller. We will now take nominations for the office of President of the Board.
I'd like to nominate, let me pick one here. I'd like to nominate Pamela Rogers for the office of president.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? We will take a roll call vote on Mrs. Rogers for the office of President of the Board. Mrs. Caminiti,
No.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes.
Mr. Donlin,
Yes.
Mr. Gimo,
Yes.
Mrs. Minimes,
No.
Mrs. Rogers,
Yep.
Mrs. Stella,
Yes.
Mrs. Wright.
Yes.
Okay, nomination carries. Congratulations, Mrs. Rogers.
Thank you. Thanks.
Now you take over.
Okay, now I take over. So we need a nomination for a vice president, please.
I'd like to nominate Robin Stella.
I second that nomination.
Roll call vote.
If there are no other nominations, we will take a roll call vote on the nomination of Mrs. Stella for Vice President of the Board. Mrs. Caminiti,
No.
Mr. DeFranco,
Yes.
Mr. Donlin,
Yes.
Mr. Gimo,
Yes.
Mrs. Minimes,
No.
Mrs. Rogers,
Yes.
Mrs. Stella,
Yes.
Mrs. Wright.
Yes.
Congratulations, Mrs. Stella.
Yes.
Okay, we'd like to open the mic to the public for public comment.
This is public comment on just agenda items?
On all items.
On all items.
On anything.
Anything you like.
My name is Samantha Cutler. I have 3 in Harmony. And this morning we found out that our kindergarten teacher was being pulled from our classroom and moved to a pre-K position. Sorry,
I'm going to turn this on.
So to say that I am disappointed is, I'm beyond disappointed. This teacher has been in the room for 4 months. My daughter has flourished. You're going to disrupt 20 children's education to pull this teacher and to go into another classroom. It doesn't make sense. I attend PIC meetings. I attend strategic planning. I attend Board of Ed. I'm at these meetings and I don't know that we're having issues staffing these pre-K classrooms. Like, how involved do I have to become to know what is going on in this district? And I'm frustrated and I hate public talking, but I am irate. I emailed board members, I emailed Dr. George, I emailed the principal, blanket statement. We don't do this lightly. Much thought, much went into this thinking, but yet I'm just so upset. I really am. I want to know why this is happening. Why is this teacher being pulled? Why is my kid's education being disrupted? Kindergarten is a big transition year. My daughter had a very hard time. She came home today and she said, I don't know, there was a lot of talking. The kids were telling the teacher they loved him, and she did not understand what was being told to her. And tomorrow she's going in, and that's it. She's got a brand new teacher. 1 day transition? I don't know. I'm upset. Those are my thoughts. They're from Harmony. Are we gonna get any answers?
Would you like me to respond now?
Yes,
I didn't want to cut you off.
I'm
First-
sorry, could I just ask you to sign in before you leave?
Oh, sure.
So I'm speaking as superintendent because I owe that to you. As stated in my letter, this was unavoidable. We apologize for that. It is not about pre-K, and you know that. It's a personnel issue and I cannot discuss it.
But
it
pre-K
is-
was listed in the
That's the
letter.
reason that we were
There's-
told.
there's-
So we
there's
were
a-
lied to.
No, you're not. There are a series of moves, multiple moves. As it relates to personnel, we cannot discuss or disclose all that information. Pre-K is part of it, but it's not the only part of it. There's also another kindergarten position as well. And it's a personnel matter, and it was unavoidable, and I apologize. And
But
we
this decision-
have listened to the feedback we've got, so we're setting up, there's a morning meeting. Mr. Paulson is setting up a morning meeting at the request of parents as well, so there's a morning meeting, there's an after-school meeting, and then as soon as possible, there's gonna be a meeting with the teacher. Originally, that was set for 2 weeks out. I asked if we could move that a little bit earlier, because I think parents will feel better the sooner that they, can get to meet the teacher. We are very confident with the outstanding employee that's going into the position, and that's, unfortunately, all I can say at this time. But we do respect your opinion, and you are very involved, and I'm sorry that you're frustrated, I am.
But
And
why
it's
weren't
not
we
something
told-
that we did lightly, it was unavoidable.
I understand that.
If I may, excuse me, ma'am, if I just may. The public comment period is in the back and forth. I think it would be okay to let you maybe say one brief comment in response, but then I want to say something. Ladies in the back, if you want to speak, you can approach the microphone, give your name and make your comment. But we can't have you, saying things in the back of the room. Was there anything briefly you wanted to
Just
say?
briefly, this decision was obviously made before today at 10 a.m. when we got this email. To have 1 day of transition and tomorrow he's not, and to not have a real reason why?
Thank you. Ma'am, if you want to speak?
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Victoria Brenham. I am a Harmony parent as well. I'm also the PTO president for Harmony School. So I do a lot for the school. I'm a working parent, so the meeting times tomorrow are inconvenient to me because obviously I have a job and I'm the sole provider for my family and I have to be at work. So I can't attend those meetings. My husband's gonna go, but you know what? It's not gonna be the same because I really like to speak with the principal. So I'll have to grab him next week at our PTO meeting. But like Samantha just said, this obviously was put in play prior to the break. We should have been notified. We absolutely 100% should have been notified so that we could better prepare our students, our kids. My daughter came home and she was like, yeah, Dr. G is leaving. I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, did you say why? He's like, oh, he's got to help other kids. She's like, but I still need help. That's coming from a 5-year-old. The email we got was that 5-year-olds, oh, they were okay. They're 5. My 10-year-old was upset when his teacher left in September. We were supposed to have a meeting with the new teacher, and that never happened. So this is the second time that it's happened at Harmony this year. So I'm not happy at all. Like, where is this information? Where was it ever discussed that they were going to be doing this pre-K? We all looked through the Board of Ed notes and the agendas. I don't see anything. I don't know why we bother voting on things or giving ideas, because nobody pays attention. Nobody listens to what the parents are saying.
Madam President, may I just make a brief comment, just to not repeat what Dr. George referenced as superintendent, but in running a school district with hundreds of employees, whenever there is a personnel decision made that triggers the transfer, the resignation, retirement of one staff member, that inevitably creates a domino effect with other staff members having to be moved, replaced, etc. This was not a normal situation that could have or would have been planned. There are matters of personnel, there are matters of potential litigation, matters of attorney-client privilege that are involved in the decision-making process, all and none of which would be appropriate for disclosure or discussion with members of the public, yourself included, in advance. And so I can't pinpoint the exact date and time when the discussion started, but it was a discussion and an issue that could not have been shared with you, no matter how much the superintendent, the administration, the principal, and the board members would have wanted to. In running a school district, there are often decisions and recommendations that have to be made that, based upon applicable laws, unfortunately, in many respects, the board can't share with the public. And unfortunately, the timing isn't always the most opportune. And that's really the extent of what can be said about the situation. From a legal standpoint, from a professional education standpoint, I don't think anyone up here disagrees with your comments and concerns, but from a legal and the business of education standpoint, there are decisions that and moves that have to be made.
Yeah, but you're in the business of kids.
I understand. Thank you.
Kids are what's important.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Okay, seeing no one else come to the mic. We'd like to move on to the approval of the 2020 Board of Education meeting schedule.
So moved. Seconded.
Discussion?
So I spoke to you
Yeah.
very briefly about this afternoon. And clearly I'm not asking that things be moved just for me. It's just to basically put everybody on notice. There's a couple of the public budget meetings, unfortunately, that due to work obligations that have already been planned on my end, I'm not going to be able to attend. So I just want to let everybody know that.
Okay, did you solidify which are those dates?
The one that's a definite no for me, unfortunately, is the 29th. I could do the
29th,
28th, the January 29th.
January 29th?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this comes, okay.
February 5th and February 12th, I may be able to get back in time, maybe late, but
Okay.
January
Budget
29th, I
meetings.
definitely can't do.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm just concerned about you missing all the public budget meetings. We have one, so you'll be able to be there Wednesday, March 4th?
Yes.
Then, okay. reached out to Dr. George to see if we could change those dates, and we have reasons we couldn't. Am I right about the changing things to the last 2 Wednesdays? Mr. DeFranco is right, had asked me, and I believe I spoke to you, and you said that we couldn't.
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but we did
Yeah.
review all the
We already
conflicts.
tried.
Different board members had different conflicts.
Yeah.
correct? Yes.
Okay. All right, but I'm glad we have that on record. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Great. Okay, moving on to the approval of the resolution of the Middletown Township Board of Education to join in the filing of an Open Public Records Act request with the state of New Jersey concerning the calculation and allocation of state aid.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
I have a question, if I may. The now therefore be it resolved paragraph ends with the word "and." Is there a second page that's missing from our
No,
package?
just scratch the end. You can eliminate some of the language from the original resolution and do not scratch the end, so scratch the end.
Thank you.
And the title on the attachment should match what's on the agenda. We're making last minute changes to this, so the title that's on the agenda is the correct title.
Thank you, Mrs. Doherty.
So just so that the public understands, it's a resolution of the Middletown Township Board of Education to join in the filing of an Open Public Records Act request with and possible future, the state, okay, go ahead, sorry.
So the resolution that's being presented to the board, in title and the spirit and the intent of the language in the resolution is for the Middletown Board of Education to join in the filing of an Open Public Records Act request with the state or to the state of New Jersey concerning the calculation and allocation of state aid. There are approximately 89 other school districts that are joining together, all of which have been similarly more and or slightly less affected by the state aid calculations given to each school district in the state of New Jersey. The intent of this request is to seek information, data, and records from the state of New Jersey as to how the calculations were made. Depending on the response to the Open Public Records Act request, the board will review the information and data provided with the firm that is doing the request, and at that time assess what, if any, prospective actions need to be taken. This resolution here signifies the board's banding together with 89 other school districts to seek this information and advocate for the students and the parents and the families in Middletown to get your fair share of education funding.
There have been individual districts over requests that have been denied, so the thought of the coalition group that we've been corresponding with is that a request of a large block of districts will hopefully hold more weight and get more attention.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, before we conclude the meeting and go into executive session, I just want to do a little bit of shopkeeping here. We have to solidify our committees going forward for 2020. What I'm going to do is I'll send you all an email of a list of the committees and the day and time that those committees will meet every month or every 2 months. It'll be the same day and time, and that'll be as per the convenience of the chair. I'm assuming that the chairs are going to stay the same unless anyone doesn't want that. And what I'll ask is that the board members just reach out to me and let me know what committees work for you. Just keep in mind the day and time, because that day and time will stay the same. So if you could just reach out to me and let me know that. And again, if you're a chair and you no longer want that position, just please let me know, because I have to get back to Amy in about a week, right? Usually a week's time.
That would help the committee start working as soon as part of that deadline.
Okay.
I have a comment. I really think that the times of the meetings should not be during the day, because that precludes people from being on the committee. And the way I'm
I'm reading it right now, it's probably gonna preclude some of us from being on the committees we're already on, because those meetings have tried to have been held during the day already. It's just not fair. You have to remember that people work.
Understandable. Everybody has different schedules, and there will be committees that will meet in the evening, and there will be committees that will meet earlier in the day. So a person who works could choose one that meets in the evenings.
I see us being liable.
You say that every meeting,
I do
is
say it.
and it's not
I
true,
do
it's
say
never
it.
been true, because I do
Curriculum
reach out to you all the
has
time.
been, curriculum for the whole year, I think we made one meeting because it wasn't during the day.
Okay.
That's because I made us think about it. When you have
When you
meetings
were the
during the day.
president, when you were the president, you were able to meet.
No,
earlier during
Robin,
the
I
day.
didn't make your
Yes.
meetings during the day. I made one and filled in for somebody. And that's another thing I think needs to be said. A committee isn't two people. No committee should meet with two people. That's not a committee. The committees are four. And if somebody can't make it, somebody should be invited to go. But the last comment I think that Leonora got was, well, we don't want other people to come to the committee meetings. We're all
By
board
who? Who
members.
said that?
So Mrs.
Who said
I
that?
never said that. So please stop putting words in my mouth.
Nobody said
Who
you
said
said
it?
All right,
Who said it?
Ms.
Don't
Ms. Rogers,
tell
if I-
me what she said to me.
Ms. Rogers and Ms. McKinney. So what pursuant
I appreciate that.
to your board policies, the board president, duly elected, Mrs. Rogers, has the authority to assign board members to committees. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, those committees cannot be comprised of more than 4 board members, so as not to trigger the advertisement requirements for a meeting. I just heard Mrs. Rogers say that the committee chairs will be charged with responsibility of scheduling and coordinating the times of the meeting with the administration, presumptively in accordance with the chairperson's schedule and their other colleagues on the committee. There was no, I guess, mandate that the meetings be during the day, during the evening, et cetera, other than a reference that the chairperson would schedule those meetings as we move forward. That's what was said this
And
evening.
my request was not to have it during the day because it's not
And
fair
so-
for those that work.
And so from that standpoint, make that request to the chair. You might be the chair, who knows?
No, we're not.
I said who knows, like, my crystal ball doesn't work this year, it got broke on Christmas Eve. But, make that request to the chairperson of the committee you're on, and you can work that out as a professional that I know you are. Thank you.
Now, excuse me, I'm sorry, can I just say, Mr. Taylor, if for some reason people can't come, what happens if there are only 2 people?
Thank you, Mrs. Taylor. So there is no legal requirement that a committee meeting be attended by more than 2 of the board members who are assigned to the committee. There is nothing legally saying that a committee meeting that's attended by 1 board member is in violation of the law or what have you. That's a governance issue. That's between this board and, as has been the practice of this board, even when committees are attended by 4 board members, you all still ask 10 questions at the board meeting that were asked at the committee meeting. So that nothing stops the board members who weren't at the meeting, who aren't on the committee, from asking questions about the information that was presented to that committee.
I
Okay.
get it.
So,
Ms. Rogers,
yes, Mr. Donovan,
in another decade,
in another decade. Mhm.
we used to be allowed to say, okay, look, if I had 2 people not come to my meeting, then I could just reach out to 2 people and say, do you want to come?
Right.
You know, it gave other people
Yeah, no,
a feel of
absolutely.
those meetings.
You know, sometimes
it
we
was
find
just,
out at the very last minute
right,
that people
last
can't make
minute, I
it. But
understand,
that's hard,
but-
because it's like tonight with John, he's on the ferry, we can't make it. So, but yeah, if it's early enough, I can certainly reach out, I have no problem with that. Also, sometimes, you know, if it is in the evening, say the meeting's in the evening, and there are people who can't make meetings that are in the evening, then they're not gonna be available to me to sub in for someone, you know? But, yeah, I'll call and I'll ask around for sure. If I have a little bit of advance notice, I will.
And the committee chairs have that authority as well, so if it's a committee, let's say it's a committee
That's
that I'm
fine with
chairing.
me, yeah, that'd be great actually, because it helps me. Because sometimes it is last minute, I don't have time to call.
Right, so
Yeah.
I think we're all capable of reaching out, because we all have each other's phone numbers. and-
Yes, we're a very good
Whatnot.
team that way, for the most part, yeah, definitely. Okay, so while we're at controversial subjects, I would like to, I'm going to be working on all the committees, and I just want to say out in the open, because I know that there's going to be something to be said about it. For the negotiations committee for next year, I want to be on the negotiating committee. I think it's very important to have myself on the committee because anything that happens before, and I'm fine with that. But I feel like I need to be on that committee to see firsthand what goes on, so I know. And I would also like Mrs. Wright on that committee because she has extensive experience in negotiating contracts
Mrs. Rogers?
with her day-to-day.
Mrs. Rogers, you can take me off the committee. I'm fine with it. I don't want to be on it, thank you.
And I'm sure you can take me too, because that's probably the plan.
No, actually, what Mrs. Miggy was, I was gonna say, I'd like to step back from the negotiations
That's
committee as
okay.
well. But I can't do it, so.
There's no negotiations going on this year anyway.
Dr. George said we had something to negotiate in spring of 2020. That's why I wanted to make sure to address it. That way it didn't seem like I was doing it behind your back.
Our contract with the NTEA expires June of 2021, which means that we would normally start the negotiations process this coming fall.
All right? And I'm absolutely willing to give up my spot on the policy committee if someone wants to take that. One of you wants to take that.
I'll take that.
Okay. So Mr. DeFranco will be policy. Thank you. And I also wanted to discuss a little bit about Form 3B. I had emailed you guys the proposed script from Schoolhouse Strategies and the proposed letter to the public from me in reference to 3B. And I had spoken a little bit about how I think that we should be giving the public what they want, so to speak, a little bit more in 3B, telling them where our heads are at as board members. So if you could reach out to me, if you're comfortable with that, and just let me know from what we've heard from the public, what your ideas are as far as what those top 3 priorities are, and the 5 goals to attain those. That would be great, so that we can have some jumping off point to tell the public what we're thinking. And I've asked Dr. George to do the same, and he wants to speak a little bit on that.
Pam, could we, before we do that, I was looking at the draft script. One thing I think is going to be really important, and we touched upon it a bit at the last forum, is starting off, Schoolhouse puts that slide up there with like a quote from somebody that nobody's ever heard of.
Right, okay.
I think we should, that just takes up space and time. Can we put a slide up there that lays out the process and has a nice, from left to right, an arrow that said this is where we started and this is where we're going, and an indicator that say this is where we are. So it sets everybody's expectations, how far we are from making a decision, how far we've come. Because I think that people are justifiably missing that bit of context. And I think I think what we need to stress with Schoolhouse Strategies is that every part of the beginning of the meeting has to be about setting context and expectations, so that when we get towards the end, people aren't just like, well, I thought we were going to talk about this, and I thought we were going to cover that. If that happens, then we fail. So we have to set context and expectations early.
Yeah, I mean, I agree actually, and I think it would be extremely helpful to even think back to the presentation that we did over the summer, the planning committee, when we tried to actually do that a little bit ourselves, and trying to figure out a timeline, even though it was way.
Yeah, I still have that slide. I still have
Yeah,
that
and
slide.
I think along the lines of something like that is what Nick was saying, so that way everybody's just really reminded what we're about to do and sort of where we're going to end at that meeting, and then where we should be able to proceed next. I think that would be really helpful.
I think we need to let the public have the opportunity to speak.
They do.
But I mean, every meeting we've had, the anticipation to the end was, well, I thought we came here to talk. I think that they really want the opportunity to say their piece. And somehow we should dedicate some of this forum, or almost all of one forum, to listening to what they have to say.
That was
Then
forum
putting those pieces. Yeah, but
That was forum one.
Kim, but it's not, it really wasn't. We had 4 forums, everybody attended a different one. Yes, they can watch the videos of each other, but they're coming to these forums. I stand in the back of the room and I listen. They feel they're not being heard. They want an opportunity to speak, and we're not giving it to them. Not that we don't want to give it to them, but somehow these forums are not allowing them to have enough time to speak what's on their mind and feel that they've been heard. I think we have to dedicate most of this forum to hear what people have to say.
I disagree. I think Forum 1 was excellent in that people got up and spoke, and then they put what they said on the screen right?
I don't
And I think that was
I'm
exactly what you're
I'm not
saying.
disagreeing, but now they went through their first forums and they put out, people, I encourage people to come and say what they want to say. Now we're going through school has strategies and we're compiling all the 10,000 comments and everything. More people are coming out and they want to be heard. They want us to hear what they feel we should be doing, or comments about why we should be doing something, or what they feel. I just think we need to give the public more opportunity to speak. I feel we shut them out.
One thing I think, and this may go back to, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think the last session, we really felt that toward the end. I think, the public, we need to work with the public and have them understand the methodology here, because the idea was that session one and the 4 instances of session one was about bulk data, right? And now everything's being refined and we're working towards priorities and things like that. And the method through which we're gathering public input now is through facilitated discussion, which is different than just come up to the mic and you get 30 seconds to hit us with what's on your mind. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it would be useful in the context of the script for 3B to set aside some time at the end as a summary. So that way people have had a chance to come in, see the context, see what they're supposed to be talking about, understand where we're going, digest everything that we've given them, have the facilitated discussion with the other members of the community, and at the end, if there's still something they feel like they need to say or they're not being heard about, they have an opportunity to come to the mic. I think there's going to be a balance there. I agree. There was a palpable frustration in this room at the last meeting because of that.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And then everybody walking out was saying they're not going to listen to us. They're going to do what they want. They already have a plan. The rumors were killing the process. And I think we have to start listening to a degree of what we need to hear.
Or making, we have been listening, right? But making them feel like they're being heard. Like, I think that's more important.
We have to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it, though, is writing down what we've heard and what we think could help them. I think that some people are being heard, but they're asking us questions and we're not answering them. And I think that that's what they want too. So I'm hoping we can give them some answers. And I understand that is frustrating. I'm wondering if we don't change this section here, where we have people going out to different tables and introducing themselves to each other, perhaps to do a public comment so the whole room can hear what they're saying and not just their little group. Do you think that would help? So if first the facilitator gives an overview of the strategic planning and they reference, say, the timeline, and then they put out those top 3 priorities, and then after they lay out those top 3 priorities, which are, I'll read it for the public, changing dynamics of enrollment, class size, and impact on providing the best education, special education programs, and the need for inclusion and services for dyslexia, and support for student success, in parentheses, key infrastructure needs, financial facilities, staffing, curriculum development. Perhaps if they mention those, and then instead of going right to introducing yourself to your group at your table, you could maybe express what you're thinking to the whole group. Do you think that would help?
I think a whole conversation is what needs to be had, because the little conversations are just like forum 1 through 4, which I think were great. I didn't say they weren't. But people need to hear what each other is saying. And we need to hear what they're saying. They want everybody to know, we need to know what people agree. Maybe somebody has something to say that somebody else isn't thinking about. And then they say, hey, you know what, I like that idea. Maybe this is, it's just a whole conversation with everybody in it.
Yeah, I too felt the tension in the last forum, in that I think we gave a lot of answers to questions, because I think people have asked questions in the past. And for example, Dr. Tiedemann coming up and explaining all the different programs that we have, I think that was necessary, but at the same time, maybe it just lasted too long. Maybe we can kind of, shorten that up so we leave more time, because people spoke for an hour, but I do think it was like the frustration for people getting to that point.
And then, I think we all stood and talked to people after the session. I spoke to 2 gentlemen after the session, and they both basically had similar questions. And one of them, I explained the tax levy concept to him, and he was under the impression that the Board of Education directly taxes households in the district. I said, no, it's a levy, we have a budget, we give it to the township divides it through, so it's not a direct tax. It was like, that gif of the guy's mind blowing up, it was that. So, I mean, he had no idea, and there was another gentleman who was sitting over back behind the pillars who during the session was having the same questions and nobody was answering him. So I do think that we need to spend a little bit of time circling back to questions that people have asked and maybe haven't gotten good answers on. Not a ton of time, but just, Amy really tried to give the tax levy answer. I don't think people got it because they were also thinking about other topics. So maybe starting off by saying, just want to hit a couple of these things. This is what the tax levy is. This is what the financial situation of the district is. This is the S2 funding issue, et cetera, just a couple of highlights to set the stage, and then it gets into, let's have a discussion. These are the 3 funnels that we've built based on the data. Let's start putting our suggestions into those funnels to then, focus the discussion. We can't, on one hand, have a free-for-all of people just marching up to the mic saying, great banding, when we've said 1,000 times, we're not even there yet, right? But at the same time, we don't want to squelch any really good, robust discussion. So we'll have to balance it, but we need to.
Perhaps I'll jot something down for the opening of the meeting, and I can speak with Amy and make sure I'm explaining it for the public to understand. That way I set up Dave for success. Because then, set it over to him.
Can we also find a bigger room? Because as I stood in the back of the room, there were people walking out saying, even though it isn't true, they don't want us here, so they squeezed us all in. There were people sitting on the floors in between the rows. That kind of was uncomfortable, and it was hot in here because people were stuffed in like sardines.
What about High School South? Can we do High School South in the cafeteria? That was.
We could do either cafeteria.
That was
Just
nice
in
and
here,
big.
there's no room. There was no room in here for everybody.
We definitely need someplace bigger.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel though that the auditoriums are too big, where.
You get lost in,
So then do the
voices get lost.
cafeterias. There's tables there for people to sit, there might be more
Problems with
room.
sound systems aren't as good though.
Either way, though, we gotta do something better than what
I
we
think
did.
too, all the board members should have a microphone at work so we can speak to things and answer questions if we need to. And Dr. George can have a microphone too, because a lot of times I wanted to say something and I couldn't address it. So I think that's important too. Like a situation like this where we each have a microphone. You know?
There's a limited number of
We're not supposed to give our ideas.
It's not It's not our ideas, what we've heard the public say, and what we're thinking they said, and what that's bringing us towards in our thought process. Because at the end of the day, we are going to have to vote. We are going to have to make this decision on the public's behalf. And I want them to know what I think I've heard them say, so that they can understand where I'm coming from. They have to be able to trust me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like whenever whenever I have an argument with my wife, like, I want to be able to hear what she has said back to me to make sure that we understand each other, right? So same thing. If everybody's telling us things, then we want to repeat back to them what we've heard, so that way it's clear that we've listened. So you have to say something at the end.
Yeah, but you want 9 people doing that?
No,
Or
I
should it just be the committee?
think it's either the committee or the board
Well,
president.
that's where we're confused. That could sound like it sounded, now maybe.
No, I
I'll
think,
take it back.
I think organized like
Let's
this.
talk this back. Did you mean the committee or did you mean the whole board?
No, when there's public comment, and then I'm only supposed to speak, right,
Right.
back and forth. I usually only speak, but then if someone really wants to speak, one of you guys is like, yeah, then you speak.
Right, but I don't think it should be the 9. I think it should, to Joan's point,
That's
it
the
should.
other big
I'm
crazy.
fine, I'm fucking fine with that. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. As long as we get input from the whole committee, so that we're not speaking for you out of turn, out of line. You know, I don't want that. I want everybody involved. Okay, let me see if there's, and Dr. George wanted to speak about Forum 3B as well.
No, I think,
No? We did it?
I think you covered everything.
Okay.
Very, very comprehensive. The public dialogue was great. Gives the public a sense of where
Where we're
the
at.
is and where we're going as we prepare for 3B. That's great. You and I are going to continue to communicate directly with the schoolhouse strategies. I talked to them, and we talked to them, each of you together.
We're gonna try to set up a
We tried to
meeting,
explore that.
all face-to-face.
Committee, you know, I've been giving you I spent a lot of time over my break, had some free time. Spent time reviewing, the responses and that type of stuff. Tomorrow, I'm going to share with the full board the information I shared with the committee as it relates to written responses and also the trends from the survey results themselves, as well as the written responses that I shared with the committee today, and I think that's it.
Okay, great. I need a motion, oops, sorry. Oh, can we swear in Mr. Little now that he's arrived?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Look what the cat dragged him.
Welcome, Mr. Little.
Stand up. Now you have to do it by yourself. You just vote.
While we have you doing it.
So everybody else can.
What's that?
You have to stand up here like everybody else.
Stand up, square.
Right there?
Here's one.
Yes.
Okay,
Take your
so
swear.
just repeat after me, raise your right hand. I, and then state your name,
I, John Little,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States and this state
in the United States and this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I, and state your
I,
name,
John Little,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
that I possess the qualifications required by law
for the office of a member of the Board of Education,
for the office of member of the Board of Education,
that I am not disqualified as a voter
that I am not disqualified as a voter
pursuant to law
pursuant to law
or disqualified from membership
or disqualified from membership
due to conviction of any crime or offense
conviction of any crime or offense
as listed by law,
as listed by law.
and that I will faithfully,
That I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of that office
all the duties of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn to executive session for the matters of personnel and contract negotiations.
So moved.
Seconded.
We said minutes will be taken and released if and when released to the public if and when the legal confidentiality no longer exists, and no action is anticipated to be taken this evening.
Okay, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?